What about body? Yeah, yeah. What about body? Oh, what about body? Oh, the whole election night. Bring the votes, then the night. Yeah, that ain't right. What about body? Borders wide open, let 'em flood it. Hands crossing, drugs pouring. Where we begin? What about body? Gas prices sky, inflation wild. Economy dying, can't feed your child.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
On his laptop, bullets and bills, trying to cash flow, million conceal. Family getting paid, influence better while we out here struggling, pockets unsettled. Weaponized OJ, FBI raids, Mar-a-Lago storm, 100 gets paid. January 6th, locking up brands, but Joe specified docs in his garage, man. Keystone cancel, energy weak, depending on foes, got $4 a week. Crime in the cities, soft on the street. Chaos go deep. Stole the whole election night. Read the votes, till the night. Yeah, that ain't right. Well, if my Biden waters wide open, let it flood it. Millions crossing, drugs pouring. Where we begin? Well, if my Biden gas prices sky, inflation wild. Economy dying, can't feed your child. Well, my Biden, Afghanistan mess left on behind. 13 soldiers gone, Joe acting blind. What about that? What about Biden? Yeah, yeah.
What about Biden?
Yeah, what about Biden? Yeah,
13 soldiers gone. What about Biden? Welcome. All right, let's get this show started. Let's get this show started, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Monday. Let's go. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back.
It's deja vu when I'm out here flying first class. It's like every week I gotta take out my class.
I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class. You can tell that I made it. Look at my grass.
Cars in the garage with tanks full of gas.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
I won't finish last. See it in my living room.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
The algorithm turned to a maniac. I guess we go viral.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. Here it goes. The Zeus haters right here. Here they go. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Right here. I can see him already this morning. Here you go.
I'll tell you what, I've gone into Zeus's
That's a lie.
get a drug test ticket.
Yes.
It was radical.
Keep it clean.
Very radical.
Right there.
It was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
See what they say about me? You see what they say?
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
You see what they say about me?
It's like deja vu.
All right, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are back in the Thunderdome. I am your host, I'm your pilot, and you know exactly why we are gathered here today, ladies and gentlemen. We have a country to save, and we have to continue the wonderful work we've been doing in order to get the truth out here, about just how terrible this current administration is going. So, yes, and welcome back. Yeah, I am on the main account. Believe it or not, but I don't know if a lot of you have been hearing the rumors and the rumblings, but ever since this TikTok thing has done what it's done, the United States has taken over, things haven't been quite the same. And so what we'll do is we'll play it out. We'll play it by ear. So thank you to all of you, honestly, for helping to help get the account back. I don't know which of you did it, but I guess you all like what I do. You like dealing with me, Big Zeus, aka the Rizzler, okay, aka Triple H. Speaking of that, where are my manners? If this is your first time tuning in and listening to a show like this, I want to say thank you, number one, but I also got to let you know who I am and what I do. I go by the name Zeus, or some like to say Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is because I am honest. I'm the most honest person on social media, hands down. The second H is because I am humble. Yeah, TikTok isn't the same. So, and by the way, if you can, make sure you follow me on YouTube, all right? Make sure you go and follow me on all of my other pages, because you never know what might happen. I mean, we've been having quite an interesting month on this app, all right? So the second H is because I am humble. If I get it wrong, you know me, I'll be the first to apologize. But here's the thing. Just because I hurt your feelings doesn't mean that I owe you an apology. Most likely it means you need to sit your special behind down and do what? Listen to this special broadcast. Thank you. Yeah, make sure you're following that account if you've been looking for me, because you never know. I mean, I've got my account back, and I already got 2 strikes already off of some videos that I posted. And I said, wow, you really have a problem watching Big Zeus just, become a better content creator. Okay, whatever. We'll deal with it as we go. So make sure you're following this account. And speaking of following, I wanted to add what is the last H. The last H, ladies and gentlemen, is because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. Thank you. Thank you. Now, like I said, many of you know what I do. I confront people, and especially Trump voters, and I try to get them to be reasonable people, right? And I'm they call me kind of like the MAGA whisperer on this show. And I get it. A lot of you dislike a lot of the folks that I do bring up on the show sometimes, but they're like repeat offenders, right? Please bear with me as I continue to chip away at a lot of these folks and the demonic forces that have been controlling them. Okay. Throw tomatoes at them and all those things. All right. Because eventually, I do believe that, what they say, too much pressure makes the pipes burst. And actually, we're already starting to see a lot of people who loved Donald Trump. They loved him very much. But after what happened in Minnesota this weekend, they're starting to think twice, because now they're realizing the Democrats have been right. And so for the ones that have been extremely difficult, stiff-necked, so to speak, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to start to see some of them sing a different song. And I know it's very difficult, but this is the work that I say really needs to happen. You're not going to change a person's mind in one conversation on TikTok. The likelihood of that happening is slim to none. I've seen it happen a few times, but most of the time, a lot of these people, if you think about it, it's like, you tie yourself around a tree. You ever done that as a kid? You get a long rope or a chain and you go around the tree. You got to unwind that thing. And so what I've been doing on this app, and this is why I get a lot of respect basically wherever I go, is I understand how much work it'll take for MAGA to unwind themselves from 10 years. They've been worshiping Donald Trump for a decade, believe it or not. And it's difficult work, but when you got the truth on your side, you know what? You're committed to doing it. Thank you. W's in the chat for Rick. And so, with that being said, I still have my standards. I won't allow MAGA to get up here and spew misinformation and disinformation and just become very, very hateful. I won't allow it, all right? I'll give you a couple of chances, and then, you know what? If you're not going to be reasonable, I got ways of dealing with you. And I don't even want to use those ways, because TikTok seems to get mad at the Lake of Fire. I don't want to do the Lake of Fire. If it was up to me, I wouldn't do the Lake of Fire. Honestly, if MAGA would be agreeable and reasonable, we wouldn't have to do the Lake of Fire. Things wouldn't escalate. We would just be able to, say, okay, you're right, I'm wrong, and we'll go our separate ways, and I'll go do my research. But that's not what we're dealing with right now. But maybe we'll get there. So what I'll say is this. If you're a Trump supporter right now, and you still think that Donald Trump is doing a great job, despite the New York Times recently releasing those poll numbers that show he clearly is not doing a good job, I'm going to give you a heads up, because I don't need you to report us. We don't want you to report us. Leave my show right now, because it's going to get very, very uncomfortable in here. I promise you it will. But get this, you don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
So a lot of you might be wondering, how did we end up in a situation like this where we are literally in the divided states? I call it the divided states of America. And a lot of us on the left, we've tried our hardest to warn the rest of the American people that putting this man and re-electing him would be chaos, and it would be disaster for everyone, not just Democrats. All right. I mean, that's what we were trying to do. All right. And I don't know what is going on within MAGA. All right. But y'all clearly didn't believe us. All right. And maybe it is because when Biden got in office, things swung too far to the left. Okay. Maybe that is the case. But I was also hoping that you had the ability to be reasonable people and understand that the resistance that a lot of people have towards Donald Trump isn't because Orange Man bad. It is truly because we understood how dangerous it would be for a person that had a track record of being a terrible person. And that's just the simplest way to put it. We understood you don't put a terrible person in a powerful position, because history has shown us all that this will spell disaster. I get it. Obama must have done something to a lot of you. You couldn't stand that tan suit. Was it Obama's tan suit that did it to MAGA? Because I don't know. I think I understand what Joe Biden did to MAGA, and that's why I play the song, What About Biden? I think I get it with Joe Biden. Was it also because he was Obama's vice president? I don't know. But whatever it is, we're at a moment now where American citizens are being eliminated by the federal government in the state of Minnesota so far. And the thing that really bothers me about this is that's what we see, right? What we're seeing in Minnesota is making us all question our humanity, right? Regardless of whatever religion or whatever belief system you have, it's making you question it. Do we really want immigrants out that bad? Do we really want illegal immigrants out of this country that bad, so bad that American people have to lose their life? Is that where we're at as the United States of America? Is this the country you want to send your kids to grow up in? You want to force people to have children, to bring them into this world so that they can join this chaos? They're not even safe. This is very, very sad stuff. This is very, very sad stuff. We've gone from a content creator going into a state, accusing the entire state of fraud, right? No evidence. Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, yesterday gave an excellent point. He made an excellent point. He said, if Donald Trump really thought there was fraud, he would have sent in forensic accountants, not an armed group of men. Okay? And I get it. I get it. You want there to be so much crime in Minnesota so that you can go in there and get these people. But if you really stepped back, you would have to say, number one, you reap what you sow, what goes around comes around. The reason I would resist that is because everyone in the country knows, everyone in the world knows, we don't want anyone committing fraud. We do not like the idea that there's people in this country that are getting paid that don't deserve it. None of us want that to happen. But there's an elephant in the room. If there is really fraud, is Donald Trump the right person to go in and get to the bottom of it? Is Donald Trump the right person to expose fraud? See, I could sit up here and play a bunch of clips from his. Look at that. He's not. Why? Does anyone know why Donald Trump? Because I'm the host of the show. All right. I could tell you why I don't think he is. But could you all put out a few reasons why Donald Trump isn't the right person to get to the bottom of fraud? Let's just see. Oh, no, I can't post videos on TikTok either because for some reason the videos don't hit the FYP. They're stuck in processing. So we know what's going on with TikTok right now. But I digress. Big no. Right. Okay, so people put in there he's a felon. Some people put out there dementia. You're getting 0 views too, Angie. Yeah, it's happening. He's committed fraud. You see this? You don't, in other words, you don't send a wolf into the hen house to protect the hens. You don't do it. Because what will happen is you're going to be disappointed in the wolf. Or actually, you should be disappointed in yourself because you truly believed and thought a wolf would protect hens. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an emotional person, to be honest with you. But I actually do a great job on this show. You all see me, I'm the Rizzler. But I'm not the only person that's an emotional person. I believe a majority of people in America have emotions. I also understand that a lot of men tend to suppress their emotions because they default to abuse and anger. That's the only thing that they've been taught is acceptable as a man. But I've learned over the years, no, you can love people, you can be kind. There's nothing wrong with a man being loving and kind and compassionate and being their authentic self. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I can joke with people and do the dirty dozen, so to speak, because I'm the Rizzler. I can do that. But there has to be a point where you go, okay, all jokes aside, this is serious. And what's been happening in Minnesota, ladies and gentlemen, it really has been tugging at me because on one side, I'm a black man in America, and I can speak on it. They say it's race baiting, but this is nothing new. We understood this stuff is happening, especially with law enforcement. That's kind of why there's a lack of trust between most communities of color and law enforcement, right? But what we're seeing now is the rest of the country is catching up to this lesson. But I still stand on principle. Even though I'm not in Minnesota, I still stand on my principles. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And when I thought about it, I thought about, not just Renee Good, not just Alex Pretti, but all the other peoples. There's a lot of things that ICE has probably done to people we don't know about. That gives me cause for concern, right? If this is what we're seeing, imagine what we're not seeing. Right? Imagine the horror that we're not seeing. I seen a video, women and children inside of a ICE detention facility screaming, "We want out." Could you imagine this? And I saw this video and I said, this clearly, this is worse than a scary movie. At least in a scary movie, there's an end. At least in a scary movie, you can walk away from the theater and go, "Oh, wow. Yeah, that was a good movie. They really directed that. Really." I'm sitting here saying, whatever happened to all those folks that were out here crying over Sounds of Freedom? Remember that movie, Sound of Freedom? Remember that? What happened to all of you? Now we have it happening in real life, and you're scared. And you call yourselves Christians. If you were a Christian, you wouldn't be scared because God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. You should know that. I'm not even really practicing the faith like that, but I know enough about it. If you were really a Christian, you shouldn't be scared to speak up against things that you know are wrong. So with Renee Good, ladies and gentlemen, that's unacceptable. I don't care. It's unacceptable for a bunch of men. If you just boil it down to its simplest thing, right? And you strip away all of the government involved, it was a group of guys assaulting a woman with masks on. The men are afraid to show their faces. How can you be afraid and be a cop or in law enforcement? It doesn't go together if you think about it. How can you be afraid of the job you're getting paid to do? I've personally never known anyone that was afraid to do the work that they signed up to do. If you really are proud of your job, take the mask off, do your job. You have nothing to hide. But when you send a bunch of scary men out there into these communities, how could you expect anything good to happen? A father lost his daughter with Nicole Good, and he voted for Donald Trump. Let that sink in. A man lost his own daughter because he voted for Donald Trump. Let that sink in. I'm not a father, but I am a son, right? I have nieces and nephews. I know parents, so to speak, but I could imagine having to live with that. Could you imagine knowing that something you did contributed to someone you loved? Maybe you didn't agree with them, but someone you loved no longer being on the face of the earth. Think about the arguments him and his daughter may have gotten into. You know what I'm saying? Because this is where it goes. They've argued, I hate you, But then you get that call, and then you watch the video, and then you hear Donald Trump and his administration demonize the daughter you raised. It's sick. MAGA, you're losing your humanity in all of this. And this is the issue in America, right? You've completely lost your humanity, and it's disgusting. We tried to warn you. That's why a lot of us yell at the top of our lungs. That's why you get mad when you see us and you go, it's those liberals with their blue hair and the earrings and stuff, and they're always yelling. This is why. Because this is not new to us. We've been seeing it coming. We've already seen it, the destruction Donald Trump and his administration did in their first term. We knew this was going to be bad. But now you're all starting to feel it. So that was, with Renee, it was a sad thing because I literally imagined myself being in that situation. I grew up in Idaho, a red state. I grew up around a lot of white folk. But I understood. I grew up not all of them were bad. I'll be honest with you. Some of them did very neighborly things, helped me to become the Rizzler that I am. I grew up in this stuff. And I just saw myself and I said, imagine if I was like 11 years old and I'm walking down the street, you got your dog and you see ICE come out there. Everybody's up and, things are tense. And then all of a sudden you hear the sound of gunfire. Bow, bow, bow. You see the car crashing. Could you imagine the trauma that leaves in the mind of a kid? No one deserved that. What did she do? Was she robbing a bank? No. Was she a violent criminal? No. What was she? She was just someone trying to stop ICE from terrorizing people. And so what they do to her, they eliminated her. It's sick stuff. And then ICE gets up there. If you interfere with an investigation, this is what they say. If you interfere with an investigation, you will be arrested. I'm going, okay, let's just say that is the case. She wasn't arrested. She was eliminated. So that makes no sense to me. Arrest them if they're doing something wrong. Let them have their moment in the courtroom just like everyone else deserves. But you don't have the right to be the judge, jury, and the executioner. Then we get to Alex Pretti, ICU nurse, help veterans, trying to save this man went above and beyond to be a patriot in the United States of America. The man did nothing wrong. White guy at that. And I read this letter. This has come from his family. The statement from the parents of Alex Pretti, Michael and Susan Pretti. They say, we are heartbroken, but also very angry. Alex was a kind-hearted soul who cared deeply for his family and friends and also the American veterans whom he cared for as an ICU nurse at the Minneapolis VA hospital. Alex wanted to make a difference in this world. Unfortunately, he will not be with us to see his impact. I do not throw around the hero term lightly. However, his last thought and act was to protect a woman. This stuff hurts. This stuff hurts. The sickening lies told about our son by the administration are reprehensible and disgusting. Alex is clearly not holding a pew-pew when attacked by Trump's unaliving and cowardly ICE thugs. He has his phone in his right hand and his empty left hand is raised above his head while trying to protect the woman ICE just pushed down, all while being pepper sprayed. Please get the truth out about our son. He was a good man. Thank you. Michael and Susan, I'll try my best to get the truth out about your son. He was a good man. I saw it when I seen the video. I said the man was on his knees and they did it to him in the back. And then you got people in Trump's cabinet going out there and demonizing him, calling him a terrorist. You know what I mean? And this is why, you know, when I talk to the Trump voters, I ask them very plainly. I say, do you really hear what you're saying? Because somewhere along the way, the tables could turn. One thing you got to learn in life, and a lot of you who are wiser than me perhaps, right? What goes around truly does come around. And that's why when you're doing things in life, you should keep that in mind. It's not always about what people see you doing. It's about what you do when people don't see you. Right? Did you know that? Which is why Americans are upset with Donald Trump right now, because all the stuff that he's done, all right? And no one told him to run to be the president of the United States, right? But everyone knows this. If you do run to be the president of the United States of America, Americans will get to the bottom of who you are as a person, all right? And if you have skeletons in your closet, you can't cry when we start demanding you talk to us about it, because we believe that the person in the White House should be a reflection of us. So, to the folks that still support Donald Trump, I want to remind you, we're not going after Donald Trump just to get him, he's orange red band. No, we don't want somebody like him representing all of us as a country. Do you get it now? Do you get it? Why would I want the president of the United States to be in some weird and strange way linked to Jeffrey Epstein? How does that enhance my profile? How could I point to my nieces and nephews? How can we point to the next generation and say, this is what real leadership looks like in America? How can you do that? Is this what real leadership in the future? MAGA, do you get what we're saying to you? None of us want to raise our children. None of us want to be out here mentoring and helping children become the next Donald Trump. He's not the right person. He's not the right person. Obama was. You know why? You could talk to us. We can tell you why Obama was the right person. But Donald Trump isn't the right person. And you know that. You know Donald Trump wasn't the right person. And we could go through the laundry list of things Donald Trump has done, which you should know right now. We don't got to go and bring it up to you every time. You know what he's done. And you can't blame Joe Biden for those things. Joe Biden did not tell Donald Trump to get impeached twice. I'm going to say it. I got to say it. He did not tell Donald Trump to get impeached twice. Donald Trump worked real hard to get impeached twice. That's what when I used to get in trouble as a kid, that's what I was told. You worked real hard for this one. Everything that Donald Trump is complaining about, he's brought it up on himself truly. Just like everything that Joe Biden had on him, he brought it up on himself when he decided to run to be the president. Obama took on the same thing. Everybody that runs to be the president, they sign up for this. They sign up to be criticized. But I'll tell you the difference. Biden and Obama didn't have their ICE agents running around unaliving American people in the name of protecting them. If you call unaliving me or harming me the right thing to do because, hey, I was just trying to protect you, I know an abusive relationship when I see one. That's an abusive relationship. Did you know that? Did you know that, MAGA? Did you know that you might be in an abusive relationship with Donald Trump? I know the signs. Trust me. You don't get to be Zeus without going through some things. I know a lot of us, and it's not just me, we know what the signs of an abusive relationship is. Donald Trump is abusing your loyalty, MAGA. And it's sad to watch. It's really sad on so many levels because we think to ourselves at a certain point, MAGA will get it, but they won't get it. Make sure you tap the screen to share the live. Thank you. Now, what I'll do, MAGA, and sometimes I got to do this to help you all see the hypocrisy in what you're doing, especially you. I want to help you understand why folks are upset. And let's just start with, there's so many videos out there that we could take and do this to. But I'll try this one with Dana Bash yesterday with Greg Bovino. And he says, do you have any evidence that Alex Pretti assaulted law enforcement? All right. Listen to this exchange, and then I'll tell you what's bothering me about it.
That he was perpetrating violence. And there's no evidence, unless you have it, and we'd love to see it if there is, that he was intending to massacre law enforcement, other than the fact that he was there and he had a gun lawfully.
He meant to be there beforehand. Again, Dana, he came there beforehand.
How do you know that?
For a reason.
How do you know that?
Because he was there.
But all he was doing was filming and documenting it, which is legal. He was carrying a gun, which in Minneapolis is legal.
I didn't say it wasn't. And I didn't say it wasn't legal.
So then what did he do that was illegal?
Assault federal law enforcement when he does that. That's an active law enforcement crime scene.
Where do you see in the video that he was
decided to enter into?
Where do you see in the video that he was assaulting law enforcement? Because from everything we have seen, law enforcement was assaulting him when he was there trying to help another individual.
Dana, law enforcement doesn't assault anyone. Follow directions of law enforcement. Follow directions of law enforcement in an active crime scene. It's very evident he didn't want to do that. Very evident that the other individuals didn't want to do that. And, it's too bad the consequences had to be paid because...
So I'm going to stop him right there and just say this. Number one, when did that particular situation become an active crime scene? Number two, anyone that has any experience with law enforcement, you know that law enforcement, when they are engaging someone that they believe is truly dangerous, they don't just walk right up to them. You know, you got to get your partner on the phone. You guys got to all get on the radios, and y'all all got to start coordinating and maintaining control of the situation. There was no control in this situation. These untrained people clearly got in over their head by rushing into a situation to try to exert power instead of actually relying on real law enforcement training. They're incompetent. And the one thing that bothers me the most, they hate when I do it, but I'll say it. How many of you remember January 6th? How many of you remember January 6th? How many of you remember January 6th? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I do. Where over 140 law enforcement officers were beat up and assaulted by armed Trump supporters. That's what happened on January 6th. Using the logic that Greg Bovino is using, the same logic that Kristi Noem, J.D. Vance, and all of them are using, what they are saying is on January 6th, all of those Trump voters should have been eliminated because of what they did. And that never did happen. That never happened. All you have is Ashley Babbitt. But that situation, right, when they looked into it, they said that was clearly justified. But they won't even do that with this situation. They won't even look into it. You had the person who did it with Ashley Babbitt. We don't even know who the people are doing this. They're wearing masks. I've heard a lot of rumors about these folks that are wearing masks. Some of them might not even be from the United States of America. That's what I'm hearing. How do we know who's doing all of this stuff? Unleashing hell on the American people. And so, MAGA, this is why a lot of us are upset with you. Because if you believe what Greg Bovino said is true, then you would have to concede that on January 6th, every single one of those people who beat up law enforcement officers deserve to be eliminated. And we know you by now. You won't say that to us. You won't admit that. And the reason you won't admit it, because you don't really believe what Greg Bovino is saying either. So stop it. Just stop it. All right. We all know you all are in over your head with Donald Trump. And this is what you get in a way, because you really did believe the snake oil salesman. You really did believe him. What else did I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, I know what I want to talk about next. I mean, let me see real quick. Let's see. Oh yeah, I know what I want to do. Okay, yeah, we're gonna listen to Todd Blanche this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me. What is he saying? Here's Todd Blanche. Listen to him.
Of everything that happened, but it is extraordinarily important that we do not jump to conclusions about anything that happened on Saturday morning. And remember what we saw on Saturday morning, what we all saw in that 10-15 second video is not the whole story. And every American should know that. The story goes way beyond that. It starts with the fact that literally for months, we have received zero assistance from the state of Minnesota and any assistance from law enforcement. And it leads to what you saw on Saturday morning, which is out of control rioters and a tragic situation unfolding.
Yeah. Remember what we all saw in that 10-second video is not the full story. That's Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's Deputy Attorney General. Once again, telling us all to not believe what we all saw, a man on his knees being eliminated. Have you lost your mind, Todd Blanche? We all saw it. We know you're not going to investigate it thoroughly. We know you're not cooperating with the people in Minnesota to actually get to the bottom of this. So based on what I've seen, and I'll just say it, I don't trust anything that Donald Trump and his administration is saying about what really happened. I saw a man on his knees be eliminated by a bunch of untrained, I don't even want to call them law enforcement. Fox even knows this, which is why they're pressing Todd Blanche. Listen to this exchange.
Todd, I want to dial into the frustrations at DHS. My colleague Bill Malusian reporting about that, about the DHS's rhetoric. Here's a quote from his reporting saying there is extreme internal frustration with DHS officials going on television and putting out statements to describe Alex Pretti as a domestic terrorist who was there to inflict maximum damage on federal agents or conduct a massacre, even after multiple videos emerged to show that these claims appear to be inaccurate. Some of these sources have described DHS's response to the shooting as a case study on how not to do crisis PR. One said they're so fed up they wish they could retire. Another says DHS is making the situation worse, and even another adding DHS is wrong and we are losing this war. We are losing the base and the narrative. This is coming to a head, Todd. I ask you, based on the DOJ's purview, do the actions of Alex Pretti amount to domestic terrorism?
Look, it's an investigation, so I'm not going to prejudge what his actions were or were not. But there's two things that have to be part of this narrative. There are two very important points that have to be part of the story that we're talking about. Number one is the reason why that happened on Saturday is because we get zero cooperation from police. DHS, Border Patrol, operates in 50 states, doing hundreds of isolated, targeted arrests every day. There is one city where we see this outrage, one city, and that's Minneapolis. And so to come after
with all due respect, sir, my question is more pointed. Do you believe your colleagues may have gone farther? You are an attorney at DOJ. 18 U.S. Code 2331 has a legal definition of domestic terrorism, and it doesn't appear to most of the country that have watched the available video, and we'll see if there's body cam video. I'd love to know if that's going to come out, if there was such a thing, but it does not appear to have met that definition of domestic terrorism. So I'm just sort of wondering how you in the DOJ are viewing whether your colleagues may have gone too far.
Look, I don't think anybody thinks that they were comparing what happened on Saturday to the legal definition of domestic terrorism. What we saw was a very violent altercation, and I am not going to prejudge the facts. You're right. There's a bunch of video that's out there. There's a bunch of video that we haven't seen yet in the minutes leading up to what happened and in what happened afterwards. And you're right. To the extent there's body cam or other videos that witnesses are still providing to us. So I'm not describing it as anything except for a tragedy.
So that's Todd Blanche basically refusing to say what Donald Trump and his administration has said in terms of labeling Alex as a DT. I don't want to say it on TikTok, but you know what it is. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Ange. Kyle Rittenhouse, according to MAGA, they say he was a hero, right? Well, then why wasn't Alex a hero? Anyone disagree? Anyone that thinks Alex was in the wrong? Is there anyone that thinks Alex was in the wrong in here? I didn't ask that. I'm just curious. Does anyone think Alex was in the wrong? Because this is where the rubber meets the road. And you know me, maybe I missed something. W to the chat. W to the chat. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. No, because you sit there and you listen to these people and you're saying, number one, why is he still allowed to be working? You know the guy is still working, right? You know, yeah, he is a real hero in my opinion. Between him and Renee Good, I'm like, ICE is, because with those two, those are the ones we actually know about, right? Those are the cases we know about. But if what I suspect is true, that means there's hundreds, maybe even thousands of stories just like theirs that are not getting any attention right now happening in America. So I ask, with all this going on, who really feels safer? Who really feels safer under the Trump administration? I know that I don't. Yes. Yep. R.I.P. to Keith Porter. Yeah. That brother lost his life. I also got to say this. I am very encouraged, ladies and gentlemen. I am in the resolve of the American people. Yesterday, Obama said something. If you haven't looked at it, you should go check it out. Bill Clinton even said something. If you haven't looked at it, go and check it out. Vice President Kamala Harris, I believe, may have said something. Or maybe she did. I don't know. I'm getting things confused because they've all said something about something recently that the Trump administration is doing. And I am inspired, honestly, when I see folks out there bravely facing the elements. You know, it's freezing cold. They're out here protesting peacefully. I mean, shout out to all of you. And I also recognize that even within MAGA, a lot of you are starting to question. And it has to do with 2A. Remember 2A? The question MAGA is grappling with right now, ladies and gentlemen, that is bringing them a little closer to the light is the question about whether or not Alex should have been allowed to carry his pew-pew. And from what we know, he was legally allowed to do it. And they tried to say, well, because he had that gave them the right to do what they did to him. And MAGA now, they're saying, well, hold up now. Even the NRA, you can go look this up. They're starting to say, hold up now. We can't have you telling us we can't have that because you know what that does. That's going to create more distrust in the government, right? And so now MAGA, you are starting to come to grips with the fact that, guess what? As crazy as the Democrats have been sounding to you, as crazy as we looked, you're starting to realize we may have been right about this whole thing the whole time. And I keep telling a lot of the Trump voters, and not just you, a lot of times people want the truth packed in a nice little pretty package with a nice little bow tie. This is how a lot of people want the truth to come to them. Especially you, Greg. You want it in a nice little pretty package with your favorite sports team on it, with a nice little bow. And then here's the truth. And then you think you're going to go, oh, thank you for giving it to me. That's not how it works in the real world. When are y'all going to wake up and realize it comes to you in any way it can, any way, shape, or form? It is really up to you to see it for what it is and then use it to become a better person. But if you refuse to become a better person when the truth hits you, you're going to keep repeating the same exercise, That's why I get on some of the repeat offenders that come to my show, because they show up. They've been following me. They've tracked me down. One app, because I lose these accounts. One account goes, they'll follow me to the next account. That account goes, they'll follow me to the next account. They've been listening to not just me. They've been listening to all the amazing guests that I've brought up, saying the same thing, and yet they still fail the easiest test. MAGA, when are you going to wake up? At least the Democrats tend to not suffer as much in most cases, except for what's happening in Minnesota. But when you know that danger is coming, you get out the way. A lot of Democrats see the danger, which is why we've been vocalizing the warning before. Hey, this is now they're in these streets protesting peacefully. I mean, the danger is clearly here. In case you didn't know it. Somebody put in the audience, they said, release the Epstein files. Think about that. If you were Donald Trump, and I've asked this question to everybody, and you got to think about it, and it makes a lot of sense. If you were in the Epstein files, everyone, do this with me. It's an exercise I do. Imagine none of us would ever be, but let's say hypothetically, you know that if you're in the Epstein files, you are going to be exposed and subject to a lot of prosecution, hypothetically. How far would you go to stop that from coming out? And then ask yourself, would you do the exact same things that Donald Trump is doing? Now, I can't say he's guilty because we don't have all the information. But hypothetically, if you were in the Epstein files and you were afraid of that information getting out, would you invade Venezuela to stop it? Would you invade Venezuela to stop it? Would you drop a boom boom on Iran to stop it from coming out? Would you accuse a Democrat governor of committing fraud and rush a bunch of untrained ICE agents into their state to stop it from coming out? Would you? What about Charlie Kirk? I didn't want to do that. Would you knock off Charlie MAGA if it stopped the Epstein files from coming out? Would you do any? How far would you go? Again, I have no evidence to prove he's directly linked to everything that Epstein did, but you know what he says, where there's smoke, there's fire. Right? So that's where we're at right now here in the United States of America. And I do believe this is a clarion call in a way. This is a true wake-up call. If you are a Trump voter right now and you do not see the writing on the wall, you know what they say, a hard head makes for a soft behind. Yeah. I mean, when where I'm at right now with this, ladies and gentlemen, and what I'll do. Good morning, Kabira. Nice to see you. What I'll do is we'll go to the audience and we'll try to talk to people. I want to know how people are feeling out here in terms of what's happening in this country right now. I know that I do not like the idea that an innocent person, even as much as I despise MAGA, if it was the other way around and we had a radical leftist president in the White House and I woke up and found out that some Trump voter was knocked off because he was waving the Trump flag in the wrong spot, I'm going to be honest with you, I would be livid. See how that works, MAGA? I would be livid. You know why I would be livid? Because maybe it was a Democrat pretending to be a Trump supporter with that flag. How did you make sure it was justified? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to use the training you've been given. If you're not using the training you've been given, then guess what? You gotta go. That's how it works in the real world. Nobody should be losing their loved one over politics, over who they believe. Nobody should be. in a so-called Christian and a so-called Christ-like world, nobody should have to run the risk of being eliminated on the face of the earth simply because you like one politician over the other. How ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? You like I like Joe Biden. I like Gavin Newsom. So I need to be just eliminated from the face. What kind of world is this? You should be upset that you don't have health insurance. You should be upset that the cost of groceries hasn't came down. You should be upset that, you know what, if you got children, they just might end up getting drafted because they might be put into one of these forever wars, perhaps with China or Iran or Russia. Those are the things you really should be upset with. Your utility bills hasn't came down. That's what you should be upset about. That's what you should be going to the voting booth and using your energy to deal with. Not going around here getting upset because somebody voted for Joe Biden. Knock it off. All right, let me go to the box, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a lot more measured today because you see, I got to be nice on this account. All right, I'm gonna go start talking to Americans, seeing where they're at, and let's see if we could get some authentic discussions over here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, bear with me. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Let's see. Who do we have? Let's see. Good morning. Good morning, Tatiana. How are you? Disconnect. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. I don't know what's happening right now. TikTok is truly tripping. Well, where did you go, Kabira? Did you come up, Kabira? I hit accept, but I don't know if it accepted you. Are you there? Yeah, it's acting up, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what the heck's going on with TikTok. Oh, okay, it was accident. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. Idols of customs or items of fire. Tragic. Every show it does the same thing. Every show it does the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you accidentally sent the my viewer numbers. I see there's nobody in here. User, good morning.
Yeah.
User.
What are you saying that today now? No.
Jesus Christ. All right, ladies and gentlemen, bear with me as we get, it's glitching. I have no clue what's happening. Good morning, Crimson. Good morning. 1400 is now 0. Yeah. I haven't gotten a warning yet. Good morning, Val. How are you?
Hello.
Hey.
Are we working?
You're working, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just watching it go from 1400 to 0. It's the weirdest thing. Back and forth.
Wow. W. Kabira. Wow. I have no idea. That's why you can tell I'm a little more controlled this morning, right? Because when I get to all of a sudden live goes down. But I'll let you do what you do. How have you been?
It's been a weekend, right? I mean, with everything that's going on. I mean, we talk about a lot of things that have been happening, but one of the things that struck me the most was, you kind of brought it up a little bit. You brought it up a little bit ago. It's the useless loss of life, right?
Yeah.
It's the loss of life without real reason.
Yeah.
Right. These are the things that we're upset about. There's no reason for what happened Friday. There's no, or Saturday, I guess it's Saturday morning. There's no reason for these things.
Right.
And then we hear these things, and then right after Saturday, right after, the governor and the people from the state of Minnesota ask for ICE to be removed from their state,
Mm-hmm.
they get this nice letter. from Pam Bondi, stating that we'll remove these people from your state if you release all your voting records. Okay, now I want people to understand what that means. I mean, why would the federal government want a state to release all its voting records? Well, one, to determine how everybody in that state votes.
Yeah.
Okay, by name and person. What's supposed to be private in our country. I want to mind you.
Right.
Okay, that would be one of the reasons they'd want it. But the other main reason they would want it is, in Aviator wrote it down there, true corruption. How do we subvert elections? Who do we target and go after to make sure they can't vote? That is the real reason I think that you would want to do something like this. And that is, but I want people to remember that during the chaos of a man, now I'm going to describe this man to you, a man that was as a nurse in a veterans hospital, as an ICU nurse, was extremely respectful to our veterans. And there's plenty of videos to show you that.
Yeah.
Trying to help a lady that just got shoved down loses his life by ice. That's really the end result of this. All the rest of it is hyperbole and what everybody wants to think what's going on, but that's really the end result of this. It's a useless loss of life. Okay, for no apparent reason other than somebody doesn't like them. That is a reality that we're seeing in our country more and more every day.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it on this app. We're seeing it out in people. I watched there was a report from one of the football games, one of the college football games, Alabama football game to be exact, where a guy decided it was a great place in an Alabama football game. And I'll remind you, this is Alabama.
Yeah.
That he decided that he needed to do all the Snitler things and do the high, you know what I'm saying, and do it.
Yeah.
And he got what he deserved. Okay, in Alabama.
Yeah. Wow. So
People
lot of
are-
people are waking up and seeing
Right.
what's really happening, and it's starting to make them feel. I guess what you're saying is Trump is starting to lose a lot of support.
He's losing tons of support, people, and that's going to become painfully obvious. I talked about this about a week ago. We have an election going on in Texas right now. This is a seat that was held by Republicans for 30 years. 30 years, a seat held by Republicans. It is a runoff election, and the first day of the runoff election had more voters in this election than the 2024 day of voting. The first day of early voting had more people. This is not a good sign for Republicans. Okay? This is, you know what I'm saying? We're all pretty sure who's going to win this race.
You heard about that leaked audio? Didn't Ted Cruz say something as well about, or have you heard about this leaked audio with Ted Cruz? Or maybe I could look into it.
No, I haven't actually seen this yet.
Oh, let me see.
Other than Ted Cruz leaving Texas in an ice storm again, so...
No. There's a secret recording. Okay, it says leaked audio exposes Ted Cruz's sharp riff with Trump over India trade talks. Okay, so it's about the trade. So yeah.
Yeah, and I've actually heard about that. That is, that's the India trade talks are, because he's trying to subvert trade again from another country. He's trying to put tariffs where we don't need tariffs. These are the things that are, that the Republicans can see right now, especially the Republicans in the Senate and the House, that are about to have to go up for re-election next year.
Yeah.
They can see what's coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They know what's coming. Unlike the, people we get up here all the time that want to say, oh, y'all are going to lose, y'all are going to do this. No, they can see, because they can see the real numbers and the real polls that are coming out. They can see that people are actually upset that their grocery prices are higher. They can see that people are upset because they're losing their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are the things that they can actually see and feel. They feel it every time a news report comes on about somebody else losing their life at the hands of a basically a Gestapo we have and running on our streets right now.
Yeah.
Okay. These are the things that they can absolutely see and feel, and they know where it comes from. I mean, I can see what's going to happen here. I know what he's going to try to do. He's going to try to throw her under the bus.
Throw
The
who?
lady that runs NHS.
Oh.
He's going to try
Kristi
to
Noem, DHS.
Kristi Noem. He's going to try to throw Kristi Noem under the bus.
Yeah.
And then try to make it like he had no part of it. No, this is him.
Yeah.
This is him and the goons that he decided to put in place. Has his staff. Okay, this is what is going on.
Yeah.
Don't make no mistake that this didn't start with him. I mean, we had presidents in the past. The buck stops here. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Yeah,
They
he
chose
would
these
openly
people to
say
put in
that.
place.
Yeah, he would
Yeah.
openly say that about former presidents, right? It stops with the
Right.
president. So
Right.
yeah.
It stops with the president. And because that president and his staff is who picked the people that are in these places.
Yeah. There you go.
About that.
No,
But
no.
these are the things that are happening in this country today that we need to look at, that we need to sit down and go, hey, how do we stop this? We need to quit fighting about it. And I don't know if anybody's noticed, but a lot of lives are starting to take the radicals that we talk to on a daily basis, and we're just not letting them in anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're saying, no, we need to start talking about solutions to the problem that we have sitting in the White House right now. Problems to the people that back him. How do we get rid of the Heritage Foundation? How do we stop all the unconstitutional things that are happening in our courts? And that starts with Congress. So that vote, which is mainly Congress in 2026, is how we stop it.
Amen.
We as the people,
Val is on
we
fire
as the
this morning.
people have to give Congress a backbone again. Okay? And we have to put people in place that understand that backbone requires holding these people, not just the president, not just his staff,
Facts.
the Supreme Court.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
Okay? It is time that 2 justices leave that Supreme Court. Their corruption is not only transparent right now, it is blatantly obvious. Okay? These people need to go.
Facts.
Okay? These people need to be ran out of the office. This president and his entire administration and everybody that stands behind it doesn't need to just stop the administration. When we get rid of this poison that exists in our government right now, we need to cut it all the way to its heart.
Yep. We're done with it. And you're totally right, Val. That's why I didn't feel like arguing with MAGA this weekend. If you didn't know, normally I'll pop up in there and I'll be like, hey, blah, blah. But I was just like, if they can't see it now, I just didn't have, if I feel like it, I might do it, but I just, I don't even know if they even care at this. I don't even think most of them care at this point, and they just want to be.
The people we deal with on a daily basis are that 10, 15%, right? They're that 10, 15% of people that just refuse to absolutely see. It is a matter of pride for them. They believe that red hat is a badge of honor. Okay. And that's where they're at. They're never going to understand. We're never going to change their mind. They're the group of people that we kept in silence for over 40 years. You know what I'm saying? That we kept buried, that we wouldn't listen to, that news reporters wouldn't even give the time of day to. The minute they started talking, news would just run away because they knew everything was out of their mouth was going to be an actual lie.
Yeah.
Okay? We didn't give them any oxygen. The man sitting in office right now has given this group of people oxygen, and we need to take that oxygen away. We need to let it go offline.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. I mean, what can you do at this moment? It seems like the oxygen that they've had or they got, it's not helping them become better people, right? And this is what this is all about.
Well, when we breathe in, we breathe in oxygen, right?
True.
When we breathe out, we breathe out a little bit of poison, correct?
True. No, don't do that. Don't tell them about how breathing works now because a lot of them didn't know that, Val. Please don't do that. I mean, come on now. The country's freezing right now, Val. Please don't educate folks. That
It's
you can get
carbon
into a lot of
dioxide.
trouble.
Sorry, I can't help
You,
science. Can't help science.
Val, you can get into a lot of trouble trying to educate those folks. You better knock it off. Seriously.
Let's make sure that let's take the carbon dioxide out of what these people are spewing, okay? And most of that carbon dioxide is supposed to exit another portion of your body, but not your mouth. But most of these people, it is actually exiting their mouth, and that is where
sick W, Val. I mean, listen, Val, you should be more understanding of the learning situation with these folks. I know a Trump voter, literally, you may have met him, went into college, and the teacher said, "You are here to learn." And he got up and left because he said the teacher was lying. You know that? Did you know that story happened to a Trump voter I used to talk to?
Well, actually, it's a little different, right? Through primary school, right? We're here to learn, right? We're here we have to be here to learn, to get the basics and, the basics and the educations that we're supposed to get in our life, which is not happening very well also in a lot of states right now.
Yeah.
So, but when you go to college, it's a little different, right?
Yeah.
When you go to college, it ain't the teacher there to teach you. Okay. When you go to college, you learn. You're the one that has to learn. You're the one that has to push yourself, because that teacher, that professor, is not going to bend for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
you are there. You are there to learn at your pace and how you need to learn. It is not upon the teacher to make you learn. It is upon you to learn yourself.
Facts. Val, thank you, Val. You really, it's so refreshing to just hear some good truth, good old-fashioned truth, and you always bring it, brother. I appreciate it, all right? We're going to try to get some of your other mutuals to come up here, hopefully add to what we've been cooking, and hopefully we'll wrap things up on a high note today, despite all this negativity that's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Brother Val a huge round of applause. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
All right, no lies detected. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I do see the numbers fluctuating. They go from 0, 1.3, 0 to 1.4. I have no clues, but I do know that this account is back. But I also know they are monitoring Big Zeus, and so what you're getting today is a measured Big Zeus. All right, and we got to do that to keep this thing on the rails. All right, now some of the panelists they got to do the dirty work I can't do. Okay, so please, ladies and gentlemen, please bear with me. But I will end up taking. You know what? If there's a Trump voter out there that agrees with us, how about that? If you're a Trump voter and you agree with Big Zeus and all these other folks about how Customs and Border Patrol did what they did this weekend was sick and it was evil and it's unacceptable. I'll be willing to hear you out. Because that means what I'm doing and what all the work we've been doing, it's starting to penetrate. And I won't get into any other thing. I just want you to at least go on record and acknowledge that it's wrong. Maybe you can be a spark that can start changing the minds of all these other folks out here who basically blindly sold their allegiance to Donald Trump.
What it do?
Look what's going on, bro? How you doing, man? Long time no see. You nice for you to pull up in the kingdom like you did. I see you with your leg out the window.
I'll be around in the comments all the time. I just sit back and admire your growth. That's
okay, all right. Well, listen. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. I be seeing you too, man. I see you out there doing what you do, man. But listen, I'm glad that you're here this morning. You got some of them gems, some of them jewels to drop off to us this morning? What do you got, bro?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I told you so, especially not to you, because you've always given me a space to be able to speak freely.
Yeah.
But I do want to say that we are at an important time in American history where masked, unidentifiable deputized law enforcement are on the streets again. We've been here before. We've seen this before, and historically, it's never ended well. I'm gonna land with this right here, not Judge, but Zeus, and I'm gonna say they are literally unaliving white men on the streets of America in broad daylight, and hiding the people who did it.
Can you say that again? Because the people in the back may not have caught what you just said.
They are unaliving white men, the group of people who have never had to have an amendment, have never had to have a court case, have never had to have a lawsuit to defend who they were in America. They are now unaliving white men on national TV in front of the world in broad daylight, and they're hiding the people who did it. Wow. They're literally saying, we will not let the states hold the people who are doing these things accountable. Now, you can ignore this and say, well, this too shall pass, but the only way that this man gains the power that he's portraying right now is if we sit on our hands and do nothing. I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you that your eyes aren't lying to you, and don't allow somebody to tell you that you have lying eyes. Zeus, we're in a bad place, bro.
I completely agree. And you've been I guess carrying this message ever since I've known you, and a lot more. But for it to get to this point, right, where you're saying, and I know it's true, white men now are seeing themselves as the target. What do you think that's doing to the country?
I can tell you that you have 400 years of history that says that this country has never really cared about black people's plight or problems. It was only when enough white people decided that they didn't want the status quo to continue, that you got to divide. The last time this country was this divided with white people, because nobody else in this country is divided. You might have pulled away a couple of more Hispanic people, but black people as a whole have always been right around 85 to 95% together.
Yeah.
It is now that you have so many of the majority of the country, because I know this is not no space. This is not what you do. When you have so much of the
you can say what you need to say. Say what you got to say. I mean, we can handle it. We can handle it. What you got to say?
When you have this many white people divided, we have a historical line that shows you that only when you have this many white people that are at odds with each other, that things start moving and shaking in this country. This resembles the Civil War. It was only when you had this many people that was on the other side of the majority that you got this fight. And the right has already told you. Brandon Carr, the FCC director, the FCC leader, has told you without any certainty that we are in a civil war. Not that we're going to a civil war, not that a civil war is possible. The Trump administration has declared war on the American people. Brandon Carr said that this is a civil war, and it will only be bloodless if the left allows it.
Wow. That's, and that to me speaks volumes in terms of where we're at. This is what they wanted, and it's been amazing, honestly, how peaceful a lot of these protests have been. And I believe that that's the move they got to make in order for Donald Trump to still remain to be the president. But, what is there any hope that you got to give us, Brother Itchy, before you get up out of here about this entire situation, perhaps that we could all glean from and apply in our daily lives?
Yes, I will say this, that in 2026, this year, in less than 11 months, if we can take back the House, when we take back the House, and if we can take back the Senate, what we know to be fact is Donald Trump does not lead through legislation. Right. He leads through executive order. And if we get back the House, the purse, if we
Yeah.
get back the Senate, what we can do, and this is with no question, what we can do is we cannot fund or stop funding any of his executive orders that he has made or will make.
Mm-hmm.
That makes him non-effective. That makes him a lame duck president. Right now, he's not a lame duck president because he has the Senate and the House.
Right.
If we can wrestle back the Senate and the House, especially the House right now, then we don't have to fund this terrorism.
Yeah, that's what it is. Thank you. So, in other words, well, but what if I don't like the candidate? I'm not gonna vote. What if that's the energy? I don't trust none of them. You know that energy is out there, brother. Right? I ain't gonna do that because they ain't ever done nothing for me. What do you say about those folks?
Those are the people that got us here now,
Mm-hmm.
and you can still say that. Well, I don't want to vote for the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party ain't never done that for me.
Yeah.
If you can't say that the Republican Party now isn't doing something against you,
Mm-hmm.
then I think that you should stay out of voting. I don't think you should. I don't think you should participate.
Hey, fair enough. Hey, I mean, that made me laugh. Yeah, you might want to sit your special behind down. Easy. All right then, brother. You got it all out.
Said, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go ahead and get on up out of here.
All right.
There's been over 158 votes in 2025. Out of 158 votes across the country in 2025, Republicans won 3 elections. They won 3 out of 158 elections. They won 3. That's not only in blue districts, blue states, blue cities.
Yeah.
That was red cities, red towns, and red districts. The Democratic Party is not dead. The Democratic Party is not done.
Amen.
What we have to do is we have to make sure that we get everybody out and vote in 2026. And the only way we stop Donald Trump is to defund his terrorism.
Amen. All right, brother. Thank you. I wasn't following this account, bro. Okay, I got your back now. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're following Itchy. He's been putting a lot of work in the app. Great person all around. All right, make sure you follow him. All right, W's in the chat for Itchy. Yeah. All right, let's go back to the box, ladies and gentlemen. I did see somebody out there. All right.
Well, this is Dirk here. I really appreciate you bringing me up. This is great.
Yeah,
I
you
really
were
appreciate
crying. You were crying in my comment section. You don't got to do that. You just got to be patient. All right.
Well, I only cried a little bit. Give me some
Yeah.
credit there.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll deal with that. Now, honestly, you support Donald Trump?
Well, let me give a little background. I supported Donald Trump since 2011, actually. Since his first CPAC speech, I believed in the man. I thought he should be president way back then. 2015 comes around, he announces his presidency, and I am ecstatic. I've been waiting for this moment for years. I followed his campaign deeply. I supported his policies. I thought he would be the greatest president that we've ever had. Voted for him.
I keep hearing you say you thought it's like it's past tense. Are you still supporting him, or are you saying?
Well, I no longer support the man. And I'll get to that in a second. Voted for the man in 2016.
You're not trolling me, right? Because.
Well, of course not. Just hear me out here.
Okay.
Voted for the man in 2016. It's the greatest vote I've ever casted in my life. I thought he had a fantastic first presidency. Voted for the man in 2020. I think, like I said, his presidency was fantastic. I think he actually handled COVID extremely well, even against the Democrat wishes.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. We don't got all morning, all right?
Well, I'm only going to take up a few seconds here.
Okay. All right. Because those are things that they're debatable, put it that way. I don't want to get into the debatable stuff.
Well, he passed the largest tax cuts in the history of
But let's just get to
and then 2024 comes along after Joe the Auto Pen Biden brings millions upon millions of illegals into our country against the will of the American people, and I gladly cast my vote again for the man after all of the lawfare against him, after all of the
can you focus?
And now we're in 2026, and I'm looking back at his presidency in 2025, and I'm thinking, hey, I no longer support the man due to all of the lies that he told me in his previous campaigns. I'm looking back lie after lie, and I go, hey, why am I actually even supporting this guy any longer? All he does is lie.
Right. So that's what made you decide to not support him?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I'm going to encourage you to keep up that.
He said I would get sick and tired of winning, and I'm not sick and tired yet. That was the biggest lie I've ever heard.
So you're not winning?
Well, he said I would get tired of winning, and I'm not tired yet.
Got it. Well, you know what? I really do appreciate this moment. But
Me too. You're living under the greatest presidency we've had in the past 100 years. You should appreciate it.
Yeah, okay. And then
I'm glad you appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we all knew it. And I would do things. This is it. I could do it. But you see, I want that person that got into the box and said all of those things to understand something. You said a lot without saying a lot. And it's that kind of behavior that honestly, it honestly is making this country a way worse country. It's making America a lot worse of a country. And I wasn't going to do it today. But I think I got to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, for educational purposes only, I didn't want to do this today. I didn't want to do it. But MAGA, you are the worst of the worst and the scum of the earth. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending that MAGA demon that got into my box and spewed the most vile rhetoric I've ever heard straight to hell. Wow, y'all really wanted him. Y'all wanted his blood real bad. I can tell. All right. And let me remind you of what your dear leader said to you.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
And we all know it's both. Thank you, Cindy. Enough of that. You got to be a miserable person. You have to. These are people, ladies and gentlemen. You just know they've crawled out of the worst part of the country. I didn't even know you could do it, but they crawled out of that little space to come over here and try to ruin a good show. Good morning, Nutty. How are you doing?
Going well, thank you. You know what's funny about that last guest?
What's that?
He's probably laughing right now, thinking, "Oh, I got him. He's probably laughing, thinking, but but Dirt.
He should be laughing at what's in between his legs, if you know what I'm saying. W Zeus, all right? Whatever that means, for educational purposes only. I didn't say that. Come on, y'all, please lighten up.
So in response to him, WTF?
Mm-hmm.
Because why do you support a man when we have a country, we have a constitution to support? He's never done anything to deserve loyalty or respect.
Oh.
So, he talks about how great his first administration was, lies. He said how he loved the way he handled the virus. Really? You love the way he handled it, seeing tractor trailers lined up as a makeshift morgue?
Mm.
That tells us everything that we need to know right there.
get him, Nutty. I mean,
You said that you no longer support the man, which I call BS, obviously, because we know you're full of it.
yeah.
But yet you just told Zeus he's living under the greatest presidency over the last 100 years. But yet you no longer support the man. Make it make sense. You're a walking contradiction. So anyway, I want to move past that idiot.
Thank you.
So, Zeus, I have a rhetorical question for you and the kingdom. And
Yes,
it's
go
nice to
for
be
it.
back. It's nice to be back in the kingdom, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
What melts ice?
Heat.
Heat.
Mm-hmm.
So my message to every real patriot out here is keep turning up the heat. Keep turning up the heat.
Tell him.
Because heat is the only thing that melts ice.
Right.
And we're going to melt these mother effers if it's the last thing that we do. We're going to put them out of here. But I want to reference a case, Graham v. Carter. Graham v. Carter was a unanimous decision by the United States Supreme Court. I'm not going to go into the case because I actually want people to go look it up. And I want them to familiarize themselves on the case. But I will give you a short synopsis. So this gentleman that you have in the background, Mr. Alex here.
Yeah.
This is just my opinion as someone who has studied the Constitution of the United States of America. His first, second, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and 14th amendments were all violated that day on Saturday.
Wow.
Let me repeat that. First, second, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and 14th amendment. Now, either we live under the Constitution or we don't. So there, people may ask, well, how is his First Amendment violated?
Yeah.
His First Amendment violated because he had absolute right to be out there protesting, because according to our First Amendment, we have the protections from free speech, the right to assemble, and the right to redress our government. That's exactly what he was doing. And furthermore, he was literally helping a woman up who had been knocked down by these tyrants. That doesn't deserve any type of sentence, let alone an unalivement sentence.
Facts.
The Second Amendment, that's self-explanatory. Itchy just brought up the point. He just said, don't let them tell you that what your eyes are seeing is a lie. We all saw that the agent removed his pew-pew and ran away. And then they unalived him. They murdered an unarmed man. Sounds familiar, huh? It sounds like our black brothers and sisters, huh?
Yeah.
They literally shot him in the back.
10 times, yeah.
Then,
I've never seen anything like that, honestly. I'm going to be honest with you.
No. Then they violated his Fourth Amendment. So, unreasonable searches and seizures. Did they have any reason, number one, to touch him, let alone search and remove his legally obtained firearm? That's his Fourth Amendment that they violated. Then they violated his Fifth Amendment. So how is it? So the Fifth Amendment is just not to remain silent, folks. His Fifth Amendment, due process under the law. Did he get due process under the law?
Nope.
Then let's go to the Sixth Amendment. So how did they violate his Sixth Amendment? They were the judge, jury, and executioner. He never got his right to a speedy trial. Never. Then that goes into the Seventh Amendment. The Seventh Amendment guarantees the right to a jury trial, and not just civil cases, but in all cases, unless it's a bench trial.
Yeah.
And then, lastly, under my estimation, the 14th Amendment. Now, how is it that they violated the 14th Amendment? Because the 14th Amendment, Zeus, it defines citizenships, citizenship here in the United States, and it guarantees, going back to the 5th Amendment, it guarantees due process and equal protection under what? The law.
The law.
This man did not get protection under the law.
It's sick.
He did not get due process. And Itchy brought up another great point, or I don't know if it was Itchy or Val. The man literally, although he didn't serve, he was serving his nation.
Yep.
He was serving his nation.
Yep.
I've seen video after video after video of this man behind you, Zeus, reading last rites for our military veterans who have transitioned under his care.
Yeah.
Treating them with dignity, treating them with the respect that they deserve, so their families could have some sort of peace that someone was taking care of their loved ones, even in the end.
Yep.
And where was this same respect for him? I want to move away from him right quick because I know you got to get going here.
It's sad. No, it's sad when you really address the humanity of the moment.
Yeah.
It really is sad.
And what really broke me the most was hearing the statement from his family.
Yeah.
Shout out to his family for putting out a statement honoring his life and telling the truth about his life and calling this regime for what it is.
Yeah.
Shout out to his family. But lastly, although I am happy to hear what Chuck Schumer said, did it have to take another Schmurder for him to say that the Senate Democrats would not be entertaining, would not be supporting this funding bill that has another billions of dollars in it for ICE agents? Now we know 7 Democrats in the Senate, in the House, voted to pass it.
Yeah.
And three of those 7, Zeus, the ironic thing about that, 3 of the 7, they have Hispanic last names. That blows my mind. That blows my mind.
People. It blows mine too.
With this being said, if the Senate holds true, then we are headed to another government shutdown. I just want to remind.
You think so?
Oh yeah, because this will.
Should we shut the government down, ladies and gentlemen? Should we shut it down?
Yes,
that's the question.
100%.
I'm going to ask the audience. It's a democracy in here. All right. Should we shut it down and defund ICE? Oh, look at all the audience says yes. Wow.
Here's the thing.
That's the energy that's out here right now. But I know a lot of people who work for the federal government. Are you all sure? Seriously, because we know what happened. That was over 42 days last time. Are y'all all sure? Wow.
I fear if those 8 Democrats wouldn't have gotten on their knees in front of the orange tangerine, I fear that Renee Good and that Alex here behind you, I fear that they would be alive today.
I agree.
If those 8 Democrats, so even though those 8 Democrats did not pull the trigger in either case, and even though all 8 of them, I'm sure, is mortified by what has happened, the blood is on their hand. Wow. It is on their hand because they had the power to resist, and they did not resist. Chuck Schumer, if you are going to be a leader, Hakeem Jeffries, if you are going to be a leader, then start leading. We don't lead from the knees.
We don't, what did you say? We don't lead from the knees?
We don't lead from the knees.
Hey.
Stop capitulating.
That's a good one. W Nutty. Oh my God. That's Rizzler talk. That's Rizzler talk. It's starting to show that you've been listening and learning from your boy. Thank you. Thank you. All right. W Nutty.
I am so Zeus. If you've noticed, there's something a little bit different about me today.
Yeah. What's that?
Although I'm still passionate,
don't say it.
I'm not yelling today.
True.
I've gone past the point of yelling. You know, we have stages of grief, right?
True.
I'm at the most pissed off stage there is. Because over the last 2 weeks, we've seen our government murder people in the streets. Over the past 2 weeks, when have we ever seen this in the United States of America outside of terrorizing black people? Now the chickens have come home to roost for white people. The chickens have come home to roost. Now they're attacking their own. Now I want to hear MAGA say, well, what about white on white crime? Because this was white on white crime. This was 100% white on white crime. Because there are very few agents out there that look like you and me, Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they may look like Jesus over there, but you know what? The Hispanic community, they'll take care of Jesus that's wearing that uniform. They'll take care of him, just like we'll take care of the ones that look like us. But it's very few and far in between. Now the chickens have come home to roost.
Wow, you made a point.
That it's the white on white crime now.
Ooh.
Because what do we hear all the time? We hear about the black on black crime.
Yeah, I ain't heard that in a minute. I haven't heard anything about black on black crime lately. Wow.
No, because they're not going to say it. They're not going to say it.
How the tables have totally turned. Huh.
And every person should be fearful now, including us black folks. Because now we've always been targets. So we know how to move and we know how to navigate in these streets because we've always been the target.
Yeah.
Hispanic folks have always been the target. They know how to move and navigate in these streets, right?
Yeah.
So now white folks are starting to learn that, hey, wow, my privilege is not keeping me alive right now. If I'm on the wrong side of this regime, my privilege isn't keeping me alive. So now they're having to learn how to navigate these streets for their own lives.
Yeah.
But see, this is what I say to them.
Yeah.
This is what I say to them. Oh, well. Because when we were begging for your help, when we were asking for your empathy, when we were asking for you to speak up, when we were asking for you to do something because they were taking our lives in the streets, you said nothing. You said nothing. You were like, it's not my problem. It's not my home. Maybe you should have complied. But now, guess what? There's nobody left to speak for you.
Wow.
And guess what we're all saying?
What's that?
It ain't our problem.
That part.
It ain't our problem.
That part. W Nutty.
I don't wish this.
Marissa, I saw you smiling at Nutty. If you don't mind, you could just say you agree, but none of that smiling, please. If you know, because he has a problem. All right. Sorry, Nutty. Go ahead.
I don't wish this on any of my white brothers and sisters. I don't wish this on anyone. But you got to pay for the sins of this country. You all committed the sins. Now it's time for repentance. And repentance doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy because we still haven't gotten penance for the slavery that has happened in this country.
True.
We still haven't gotten justice for the Civil War that happened back in 1862, 63, 64. So I'm ending here.
Go ahead, Nutty.
As I started when I came up, I want to leave you with this. Always remember that heat melts the ice.
There you go.
So let's turn up the heat. Let's turn up the heat to its highest level.
Hell.
White people, black people, Hispanic people, hell, all people. Turn up the heat. But white folks, we're putting you on the front line. Have a great day.
All right. He lived up to his name. That's nutty right there. Makes valid points. Those are valid points. The temperature is truly up in this country, ladies and gentlemen, and rightfully so. And again, this all started because we watched what happened this weekend. It didn't start this weekend, but none of us, most people with a conscience, they saw what happened to Alex this weekend, and they're saying, this is unacceptable, all right? So with that being said, let's go and finish it up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we still got some time, ladies and gentlemen, to check in with some of you, all right, who are out there in the audience. All right, let's move to the next panelist. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Who do we got? Who is this right here? Greetings.
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm okay. You're a Trump voter?
No.
Oh.
No,
right.
I have a deep, passionate hatred for Donald Trump and everything he stands for.
Okay.
The profile picture is just meant to show every MAGA that comes across my profile what Donald Trump is all about. A bunch of teenage girls on an airplane. I hate the man. Anyway, I just have a couple of points I want to make real quick. And
Okay.
I'm sorry my throat's a little weak from a thing I had, so I'll try and make this clear. The first point I wanted to make was, I know a lot of people have been comparing this or making analogies to the Civil War. And while I can see that, I feel like this is more akin to the Revolutionary War. Because let's face it, the Civil War was about people wanting to keep their slaves, right? The revolution.
A little more than
Well,
that, right?
I realize it's more nuanced than that, but
Yeah.
when you break it down, that's
Yeah.
what it came down to, right?
Mhm.
They wanted their states' rights to say, no, we can keep owning people, right?
Correct.
And that did pit white people against white people, absolutely. But so did the Revolutionary War, which was more about a tyrannical government that gave us no representation. And you also had you also had white people fighting over that.
Yeah.
A lot of white people didn't want to give up their cushy,
So in both
empire.
situations, we got white people fighting.
Yeah, correct. I just think that I think there is obviously a huge racial component to what is happening, but I also see the other side of that, which is about people who want to continue having power,
Yeah.
and they don't really care what color you are. Of course, they hate black and brown people more, but they really don't give a about
Yeah.
white people either, right?
Yeah.
So
So
that's kind of
is
that.
it more about the rich versus the poor?
I think it's more about, if you break it down really simply, look at what the British Empire was about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most powerful empire the world had ever seen at that point. They would do anything to hold on to their world power. And I see a huge parallel with now, where you have a bunch of people who really like the idea of going around the world and taking over this territory and that territory.
True.
They really don't want their system messed with, where the poor are stuck in a cycle of poverty, just hand to mouth, while they make billions. They don't care about us. And so at the end of the day, my assessment is what we have right now is an oligarchy with brown shirts used, and that's MAGA, right? That's Donald Trump, that's MAGA. They're the brown shirts that are being used to, can I say the word, to tee us?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's the overall picture is the most powerful people in the world want to control everything. And I would say since the 80s, this is when this really got, it's always been like that here, but I say since Reagan, it got ratcheted up more and more, because that's when, anyway, I won't get into all that, but
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying on that whole level is, yes, it's partially about race. Yes, it's partially about class or money.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it comes down to good versus evil. Okay.
Bingo. Yeah. I
Okay.
agree.
So that's that point. I mean, I do think we're already in a tyrannical state. I don't have any doubt about that. We have, many people have said this: masked, unmarked people, not even identifying themselves, no warrants, just terrorizing people, and now murdering people.
Mm-hmm.
This seems very analogous to me to how the Revolutionary War started,
Yeah.
where they sent redcoats into the streets to patrol.
Yeah.
You get a couple of protests going, you throw some tea in the harbor, and the next thing you know, you got redcoats, firing
Yeah.
at people.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that's all that. My second point, or I guess my last point,
This will be
really.
your third point. You made 2 points. I'm keeping score.
Okay. I apologize. I wrote all this down, but maybe I didn't number it right.
No, but
Um,
keep going. So far I like what I'm hearing.
okay. So really, what I wanted to do was address the question I keep hearing, which is, and I agree with it. There's a lot of infighting going on right now. There's a lot of people trying to figure out how they're grappling with how to deal with this, right? Some people feel like our judicial and our voting system is going to take us out of this. Some people don't think that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the middle ground for me is like, okay, let me ask you a question. I think you know history pretty well, don't you? You're a history guy, right? Sort of.
I try to pay attention, but you know what? There's a lot of room to grow. But what do you got?
Well, okay, so what I kept thinking is I started thinking back to times in the past when we've had unrest in this country. And I'm talking about the civil rights era. I'm talking about the Nixon Vietnam era, things like that.
Yeah.
Where you saw, and I guess the question I was going to ask is, like during the civil rights march on Washington or the protests in, against Vietnam and Nixon, I was trying to remember what the number of people were that were showing up, and I thought it was maybe in the hundreds of thousands at one point. I can't
You're
remember.
talking about protesting, showing up and actually protesting against the government.
Correct. And I know that that's popping up here and there where we have hotspots, but
Yeah.
I would.
It starts like that. Yeah, I forget the percentage of, they say like
Yeah.
whatever percentage of the population, right, shows up. That
Yeah.
usually is kind of like the catalyst, I guess, for changes
Well,
on the horizon, right?
I think so, and I think we saw that in the No Kings protest. You saw
Yeah.
what, 5-6
3%.
million people? That was a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot of people. What I would suggest is to people who are always saying like, well, what's your solution? What do we do? I would say if you want to take a somewhat safe course, let's start organizing. And I don't know why we don't have representation anymore. I think we can't trust our government at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Democrats, I feel like I've never voted for a Republican in my life, but I think the Democratic Party is failing us right now.
I can
And
understand. I can understand why you say that. But I don't want to, I guess, discourage the people who are in the Democrat Party from continuing to try to
no,
fight,
no,
right? Because there are some good folks out there.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
I will tell you this, I will never in my life vote for a conservative or a Republican. And every time I've gone to that ballot box, whether I thought, Hillary Clinton was the best candidate we could have gotten or not, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
When you go to the principles, the parties are not the same. People like to say the parties are all the same, and they're not,
Yeah.
right? The Democratic Party actually has a track record of actually trying to believe in human rights, trying to help, even if they don't do the best job all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's their motive, right?
Yeah.
People over property, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
So just to get that out there, I'm further left than middle of the road Democrats, but
Yeah.
I'm not trying to throw any shade.
You're
on
reasonable.
Democrats.
You're being reasonable in a situation
I'm
like this. Like obviously we want Democratic candidates to actually do things that
Yes.
we are very passionate about. But at the end of the day, I believe the immediate threat we're dealing with right now require us all to, basically count our losses and do what we got to do to save this country.
Exactly. And I know there's a lot of infighting. And so what I've been trying to do is to pull back a little bit and not just be so hair trigger,
Thank you.
try not to judge people and say, look, we have to look at the big picture. We have the same goals here. Some of us want to go further than others, but it doesn't matter right now. We want to take back our democracy.
Thank
Right?
you. Thank you. I
We have
appreciate
to work
that.
together. So anyway, to kind of wrap everything up, I would say let's try and get some of these protests. Like if we could get 1,000 people in Minneapolis right now, a show of force. I mean, look, if they could do it in the 60s when they didn't have internet and email
Yeah.
and cell phones, we could get people to mobilize and get hundreds of thousands of people sent to these places to show them.
Well, yeah.
Does that make
well,
sense?
I do believe you've put the idea out there and people are listening. And so I'll say this,
Okay.
whatever you can to do to help resist what this current administration is doing, as long as it's legal and you're safe, I say let's do it. All right. Now I gotta move it on. All right. Orwell, but give you a follow.
All right, man.
All right, but I appreciate
Zeus.
Yeah.
One last thing. Everybody, call your so-called representatives. Call your senators. call your people in the House.
Yeah.
Do it. That's your voice. So that's the last thing I'll
Your
say.
voice
Thank you,
does
Zeus.
matter. Yeah. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it's always interesting. All right, and you said you had. Someone said that doesn't help. Listen, I love all of you out there. All right, you all are free to speak your mind on my show. All right, let's move it along, ladies and gentlemen. All righty then, moving to the next panelist. Oh my goodness. Look at the time. Oh my gosh, I didn't know the time flies. Good morning, Brother Swerve. How can I help you? Welcome.
Good morning, my friend, and good morning to all of the beautiful, tiny people living in my telephone.
Yeah.
Here's what's really getting me about this. We saw the same thing with Renee Good that we saw with Alex Pretti.
True.
Where this administration came out trying to paint a narrative before any type of investigative work was done. That's called propaganda, people. And Zeus, here's why I can't deal with Matt, because if we go all the way back to his first administration, we had people that all of a sudden they became virologists, they became epidemiologists, they became maskologists, they were experts in everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Now, I watched a live that took place on Saturday afternoon, where now they are forensic video experts.
They don't even know what.
And you know what the biggest problem is, Zeus, and this is a truthful statistic. One out of every 3 Trump supporters are just as stupid as the other 2. They sitting there talking about, here's the weapon, and then it went off by accident. So they just, I'm like, y'all come up with any kind of excuse. And we saw this administration try to paint a narrative.
Yeah.
But you know what, Zeus, is weird to me. They won't hold that same narrative.
Yeah.
For Kyle Rittenhouse, a 17-year-old minor who crossed state lines with a firearm he was not supposed to have, and then intentionally walked right into a hostile situation. And 2 people ended up losing their lives.
Yeah.
And they came out of the woodwork. Oh, 2A, Second Amendment. Mm-hmm. What about what about Hunter Biden's laptop? Y'all didn't say nothing about that laptop. Right? And yet they sit here, well, he shouldn't have went to a protest with it.
Yeah.
But Kyle Rittenhouse literally walked to a protest with it. Like, what, you can't, the hypocrisy of MAGA is ridiculous.
Yeah. They know they're wrong.
Dude, the craptastic excuses that I heard over the weekend, when they said, well, that particular weapon, it's known to misfire. And if you look here at this frame to the right and you kind of raise your head up a little bit so you get a glare on your monitor, boom, right there, you can see the puff of smoke coming from that firearm. Like, what? What does that mean? Does that mean we need to put 10 bullets in somebody?
No.
No.
Never trust a Trump supporter. Never trust a MAGA. Never do.
Oh,
it.
you know I never will.
Nope.
I've already got that made up.
You couldn't even pay these folks to tell the truth. It's something that it's impossible for them to do. They can never tell the truth, and don't even think that they could be decent human beings. They're totally incapable of doing it.
They can't be decent human beings, and they want to think that they're decent human beings because they are quote unquote Christians. And Zeus, I've said to you many a time before, my own life, faith is a gift I have yet to receive. Okay, that's where my heart is. Okay, and I don't know how to change that.
Right.
But what I do know, I don't need to call myself a Christian to be a good person. I just instinctively know how to be a good person. And they will sit there and say, well, we want to protect the children. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because you keep voting for a party of people that is assaulting children. You keep voting for a party of people that is protecting the assaulters of said children. And you keep voting for a party of people that every time something comes up to help the children, the party you're voting for, just, no, we're not going to do that. Remember when they had when the Democrats put forth the bill that said, hey, we're having an infant problem in this country, baby formula problem. Let's get some from Canada.
Yeah.
You want to help the children, right? It was a standalone bill, right? You want to help the children, right? Every Republican in Congress said no.
They blew a gasket. Gasket.
They were like, yeah, exactly. You could see the hamsters falling off the wheels in their heads.
Yeah.
Going, oh my God, you actually want to do something to help the children? Oh my, this is ridiculous. I don't know what kind of tyrannical government we're living in. This is straight communism. What about Biden?
What about Biden?
It's just absolutely ridiculous, the crap they come up with. Zeus.
Oh my
and
God.
just remember the stat I just gave you, brother.
Yeah.
1 out of every 3 Trump supporters is just as stupid as the other 2. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and drop down and say to all you beautiful, tiny people living in my telephone and in the kingdom, you all have a great day. Be well, be safe, and doggone it, have fun while you do it. And stay warm, please.
Stay warm.
Thank you, Zeus.
You stay warm, too. See, ladies and gentlemen, y'all see how easy it is to just get in the box, tell the truth, shame the devil, and go on about your day. We can't get the Trump voters to do it for some strange reason. And I know I'm talking to a Trump voter out there. Your conscience is eating away at you. You've never been in such a low place like you're at right now in your life. Your wife says she loves you, but you don't think she loves you, right? Your children, they claim they love you, but you can tell they don't love you. And you live in probably the coldest part of the house. You got all your Trump paraphernalia. You know, you call it paraphernalia because it's linked to crimes, right? You know, that's what they call it. It's Trump paraphernalia. And you're wondering when it all is going to end, or is it even going to get better? It's not going to get better. Yeah. She's cheating on you with another man, maybe even a Democrat. I said it. Yeah. Your children, they're not even, you don't even know. Now that I think about it, you're just a check in the house. You're just a check in the house. You're useless. Did I just hurt your feelings? Oh, they're crying in my comment section. Look at them. You can see the Trump voters crying. They're useless. The biggest joke in the planet is MAGA. Think about it. No one loves you. Think about that, MAGA. No one loves you. Just, your dad went and bought another red hat, dear. Your dad went and bought another red hat. He bought another Trump flag. I hate him. And then he comes home. Hi, dear. How are you? You know they're just playing you because guess what? You put that $2,000 into her checking account. What did she do with it? She probably went on a date with Big Zeus. No. I'm kidding. That part I'm kidding. But, you know, you just never know. Because one thing is serious. Y'all are so miserable. The MAGA male species is so miserable. And you would think if you're winning, like your dear leader said you were winning, I mean, if you were winning like he said you were winning, wouldn't you be just literally flying on the moon? You'd be riding around, just living it up, having your best life. But we can tell you're not having your best life. Your life is so miserable, MAGA. You had to go work for ICE. You know what they say about the people working for ICE right now? These are the people that couldn't make it in the armed services, and they couldn't even make it in law enforcement. They couldn't even make it to be mall security officers, right? I mean, so their wives or whoever they were with said, if you can't put that $2,000 into my bank account every month, I'm done with you. I don't care. Well, I'll figure out a way to make it happen. And guess what you did? You drug yourself off of the couch and you went and surrendered what was left of your dark, desolate soul to Christy Nome, a person you know doesn't even care about you. She didn't even care about the dog. She eliminated a dog. For what? Go ask the dog. Can't even ask the dog. The dog didn't behave correctly. So I unalive. You went and surrendered your life to a person that did that. If she doesn't care about the dog, you know she doesn't care about you. Sick stuff. You Trump voters have gotten yourselves into a sick and disgusting cult. The world sees it. We're laughing at you. When I shut this live down and I go on about my day, I literally think to myself like, wow, he has grown men. Donald Trump does. Grown men. They look like grown men. Just shaking it for nothing. Y'all turning it up. Y'all turning it over to him for absolutely nothing. And it's hilarious to me. It's hilarious. Because as long as you can get on TikTok and say, we won 2024, he can do whatever he wants to you. You know, and Lawrence O'Donnell did it. He pointed it out. One of the Trump voters, Trump could say something like, go F off. And he would say, that's my Trump. That's my Trump telling me to F off. Y'all are some sick folks. So, you know, yeah, it's truly cult-like behavior. It truly is. And that's why I tell folks, like, even if the candidate isn't the ideal candidate, even if you lost hope in the Democrats at this moment, the nightmare needs to end. And your most patriotic duty at this point, ladies and gentlemen, is to put the right people into government. Put the right people into government that can actually do this. Donald Trump just posted, Governor Tim Walz called me with the request to work together with respect to Minnesota. He just posted this? All right. Yeah. Okay. It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on similar wavelengths. I told Governor Walz that I would have Tom Homan call him, and what we are looking for in all criminals that they have in their possession. The governor very respectfully understood that, and I will be speaking to him in the near future. He was happy that Tom Homan was going to Minnesota, and so am I. We have had such tremendous success in Washington, D.C., Memphis, Tennessee, and New Orleans, Louisiana, and virtually every other place we have touched. And even in Minnesota, crime is way down. But both Governor Walz and I want to make it better. President Donald J. Trump. Wow. Isn't that interesting? I thought he was the governor of fraud. You see how this thing keeps shifting, MAGA? Eventually you'll wake up and realize it. Imagine Donald Trump and Governor Walz getting along after all of this hell that was just unleashed on Minnesota. Now they're getting along and things are all of a sudden working out just fine. How did that happen? Oh, and then a month later, there was no fraud. Y'all see how easy and gullible. Y'all see how easy it is to trick a Trump supporter. That should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. It's so easy. All Trump has to do is say it's true, and you all believe it. It's really sad, ladies and gentlemen. It's really sad. It's really unfortunate. It really is. All right, moving along, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe this is happening. Oh my gosh, what a disgrace. Good morning, Jim. Nice to see you. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Just trying to navigate the situation at hand. You?
Yeah, I don't think navigate is the right word. Processing absolute corruption and degradation of our Constitution and the rights of the American people. That's a
True.
good one.
True.
I came up because Antifa, my dear friend Antifa, who I adore and who teaches the Constitution, missed a really important amendment, the 10th Amendment, which nobody talks about.
Oh.
And the thing is that's one of the biggest problems right now with what we're witnessing in Minnesota, because it's federal overreach of a state. And the fact that we're literally witnessing people who are untrained, people who are masked, we don't know their identities. We don't know if they are criminals themselves. We don't know if they served as part of the January 6th insurrection. We don't know if they're even authorized to carry weapons. We don't know if they're authorized to enforce law. Oh, wait, they're not, because they're ICE and they're CBP, which means the only job that they're allowed to do is immigration and customs enforcement, border patrol. That's it. The last time I checked, they had no authority over American citizens. They had no authority to stop anybody in traffic. They have no authority to actually put their hands on and assault. We literally witnessed in that video the absolute assault of two women being shoved, and then him trying to say, don't put your hands on her, puts himself in the middle and puts his hand up, and he is not only pushed, he is then pepper sprayed, he is then assaulted, drugged to the ground. He's still holding that woman, trying to protect her. With his eyes blinded by pepper spray, he's still holding on to her, and they drag him away from the woman. After they drag him away, it took 1,000 pounds of men. 1,000 pounds. I want people to picture this. If you are a grown man or anybody in America right now, I want you to literally imagine 1,000 pounds on top of you. He is on his knees. He has no way to fight back against 1,000 pounds and 16 pairs of hands and 16 people kicking him and being pistol whipped and pummeled with the bear spray can in his head repeatedly. He is subdued on the ground. I want you to keep playing that in your head, that he is subdued by 1,000 pounds of men, cowards who cannot act alone, that cannot stand on the law, that have no authority over American citizens, pummeling him repeatedly in the last moments of his life, trying to protect a woman who was literally shoved to the ground in ice for merely blowing her whistle. It was whistles against weapons, whistles against tyranny, whistles to help their fellow man. So please, all of you who think you're doing something, I want you to remember Alex Pretti with 1,000 pounds of people on him for holding a cell phone and upholding the Constitution and standing up for a woman and all the veterans that he literally gave last rites to, who he literally, by all intents and purposes, fought tirelessly as a VA ICU nurse to save lives. And then in the final act, as he is on his hands and knees being subdued, they pull his life right out of his body. And if you have anything else to say about this, then you are part of the criminality that we are witnessing in this country. And those of you who claim to be patriots, those of you who claim to uphold the Constitution, and you are still supporting this, it's coming for you next. It's going to knock on your door, and you are going to succumb to the very thing that you continued to uphold and preach about, which was hate and fear and tyranny. You did that. There is no way of you escaping it. We will never forget. We will never let it go. And we had already witnessed it with Renee Nicole Good and Kevin Porter. So and 33 others, by the way. 33 others. Yes, Keith, I can't remember.
Yeah,
Keith
you're
Porter.
on fire.
Thank you
Keep
for
going.
correcting. I
Let's say his
can't.
name, Keith Porter.
Keith Porter.
Let's go. Go ahead, Jim.
I think there should be a poster with his picture also. And this is another thing. I am so beyond disgusted in people, even on the left, that are trying to give some kind of comprehension or reason. I have heard far leftists and libertarians on this app go, well, what happened was, and they pulled it from the waistband and it accidentally fired. That is not true. It didn't happen. There's no evidence of it. I don't understand how we even try to give it an excuse. Every single American citizen witnessed it. Every single person who's seen 5 vantage points of that video, nothing this government is telling you is reality. Nothing they are saying is based on any type of laws in the Constitution, and they are breaking every one of them. So I don't want to hear anything about Democrat versus Republican anymore, because the truth of the matter is this isn't about that. This is literally corruption versus the Constitution. Corruption versus the Constitution, full stop. You are either corrupt or you support the laws of the land that protect every single person within the borders of this country and any place where it is American run. Because this isn't going to be happening just here. I want every one of you who believed in that America First bullshit. This is going to happen when you try to travel abroad now. The moment you show your American passport, you're going to be spit upon while traveling because people want nothing to do with us. This isn't just here at home. This is going to follow this country for decades now because we have witnessed absolute destruction of humanity and civil rights and women's rights and educational rights. This is happening because you allowed yourself to be dumbed down to the nth degree. There are people on this app still trying to say that Nancy Pelosi somehow had the responsibility of the National Guard on January 6th. I mean, of all the people to blame Nancy Pelosi because you don't want to hold the president of the United States responsible for the corruption he committed, it's the only place, by the way, the only place in the United States where the president has full authority over the National Guard. And you are too stupid to go look it up.
Thank you. W. Jim. And we're past the point of looking it up for you. You can't read, you're lost. You're done.
I just can't anymore. I can't. And I'm tired. I'm tired of the excuses that they make for this corruption. Well, he shouldn't have had a weapon. He had a right to carry a weapon. Are you now saying that you disagree with the Second Amendment? Because if that's the case, every one of you so-called patriots, you so-called protectors and providers, you better turn your weapons in. You better start calling your federal government and handing it over.
Yes.
You better. You better start right now.
Because they know it's over. Get on the phone right now. Do you know how to use one, MAGA?
I just don't understand, Zeus. I don't understand how we're watching not only our First Amendment be taken away, now our Second Amendment's been trampled on, and we're literally watching every single day rights of American citizens. Notice I'm saying American citizens. I'm not saying BIPOC. I'm not saying trans. I'm saying American citizens, because this is the thing about MAGA. Is they keep thinking it's the other person's problem. It's the otherisms, right? I'm going to pick on this group, and I want to remind people. First, it was the Mexicans, right? They were attacking the Mexicans. When that didn't work too well, they brought up El Salvador, MS-13. Remember that when they were trying to talk about the invasion? Then it was the MS-13. Well, what happened to all those people? If they invaded an MS-13, where are they? Why
Yeah.
are they not attacking American citizens? Oh, it's not happening. Oh, that's not going to work for us. Let's switch. Now we
Yeah.
need to move from El Salvador and MS-13. Now we need to talk about Haitians. Do you remember the Haitians that came across into Texas? Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
remember that? They went after
The
them.
cats and the dogs, remember?
Well, no, but before that, we're talking about when they came across into Texas and they were trying to escape in boats.
Oh yeah,
Because of
I remember that
because
too.
of the
Okay.
earthquake. Yes.
Yeah,
So then
yeah.
first it was the Haitians, so they rounded them up in the nasty waters of the Rio Grande. They were rounding everybody up. Then it was, they put the wires in the water,
This is
right?
sick.
Right, where they're harming mother and child.
Yeah, the barbed wire.
Then they literally fired across the Rio Grande. A National Guardsman fired a weapon across the Rio Grande and unalived somebody. We forgot about that.
Wow.
Then, so when none of that worked, then they had to switch it. And then they had to switch it to who was the next group of people. Then it became the Venezuelans, right? So then it was international waters. They were unaliving people in international waters.
Wow.
And then they took the president illegally. We don't even know where that guy is anymore.
Yeah.
Or what's happening with that country.
Facts.
And then they threatened Venezuela. They told the Venezuelan government that they only had 15 minutes to respond before they did what they did.
Wow.
And so when that now wasn't the success that they wanted to cover up the Epstein files, because we forgot about that. We're not talking about the Epstein files. When that didn't work and they couldn't keep with the Venezuela people, then he gave our money to Argentina. He gave our money to Argentina to the tune of $40 billion. So $40 billion, America First, went to Argentina. So I want you to remember that. So now since the negative wasn't working, well, we're going to help this country that's so broke. We're going to have to sustain them with your American tax dollars.
Wow.
So then they gave that. When that didn't cover up the Epstein, and we were still asking for justice, then they started going after the Somalis. So when you go after the Somalis, it came back to the Haitians, if I recall. The Haitians eating the cats and dogs, right? When that didn't work, then it switched back to the Somalis.
Yeah.
So there's always an other. There's always an other. And don't forget the trans community, less than 1% of the population, but they want you to believe that someone using the bathroom is bad when 90% of all crime is committed by men.
Yeah. Listen to him.
90% of all crime is committed by men.
You just hurt all of their feelings right there, Jim. You just made them cry with that statement right there. That part right there. You're sick, man. You Trump voters, the ones that support Donald Trump, you're sick. The truth is out there. You're a bunch of nasty criminals. Case closed. If you and I could have a courtroom, we just bring them in there. Are you a Trump voter? Yeah. Guilty. Send them to Alligator Alcatraz.
Well, that's another thing. Where are all those people? They can't find them. There's 1,200 people missing from Alligator Alcatraz. They have no idea where these people are.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea who they were, what they did, what they were accused of. We don't know if they were American citizens. We don't know anything about them. They just disappeared 1,200 people.
Yeah.
Where in any country in any lifetime is that acceptable behavior to disappear?
It's not.
1,200 people.
It's not.
And these are the same people that will tell you about their rights being stumbled on.
They don't have rights. I got to call Congress today, and I'm going to say I need a bill to hit the floor. Strip away all of the rights for MAGA. I just think it needs to be out there because we're at a point right now. I don't expect them to do the right thing. Case closed. All right. They don't deserve to vote. MAGA doesn't deserve to vote. Not at this rate. Because I'm getting angry. All right. Now listen, Jim, I got to get up out of here. All right.
Yeah. I want everybody to call Congress. If you really want something done, you need to start demanding that Congress listen to you as constituents. This is not about Republican versus Democrat anymore. This is about American citizens. This is about corruption versus the Constitution. And I want to remind you every single day that if you think it's the other people that are going to be harmed, it's coming for you.
Bingo.
It's coming for you. So you better get ready because it's going to be a very bumpy ride.
There you go. There you go. W. Jim.
Thank you, my friend. Be safe.
You too. No lies detected. Wow. Yeah. Release the Epstein files. All right, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, we've done an outstanding job cooking and booking this morning on my main account, and rightfully so. I've had to be a little more measured because they got their eyes and ears on what I'm doing here for some strange reason. All I'm doing is telling the truth. But to that MAGA demon that was spamming my chat, I don't know the name of the demon, but you all did a great job muting them, I should say, because I don't know. One thing I'll say is this: you make your bed, you're gonna have to lay in it, and this evil that you're projecting out into the world, it's going to come up on you like a thief in the night and rob you of all of your worldly possessions. And when you find yourself in that moment, I want you to understand you worked really hard to get there. I would say, may God have mercy on your soul, but I'm just not quite there yet. I'm just not quite there yet with MAGA, because you don't ask the devil to go into heaven, right? You don't tell the devil, go on into heaven. No, so I can't say that, and that's how I look at a lot of the Trump voters. You sold your souls to the devil. I got to get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. We survived another show. I don't know how we did it, but we'll try to get it. We'll try to get it and keep it going. All right. I want to give a special thank you to all the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. Because without you, this show wouldn't be what it is: entertaining, engaging, and very, very educational. All right. But on a serious note, I got to give one last round of booze and shame, and you know exactly who this goes out to. It goes out to every single one of you that are Zeus haters, and you just do nothing to help the American people, but you spend all day on the internet bashing Big Zeus. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in giving him one last round of, you guessed it, booze and shame.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care and stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, assuming nothing crazy happens to the account. All right, again, and we are out of here. Hope you are going to enjoy my song. I listen to this song right now so that when MAGA starts crying about Joe Biden, I could just tell them, no, you don't need to cry about it, because you can't. The song actually does it more justice, and we know this is the song that makes Trump voters cry.
What about Biden? Yeah.
What about Biden?
Yeah. What about Biden? Oh, what about Biden? Stole the whole election.
He stole the election from now, MAGA. What about Biden? Borders wide open. W murderous store.
Where we begin. What about Biden? Gas prices sky inflation high. Economy dying, can't feed your child.
This is an emotional song. What about Biden?
What about Biden? Yeah, yeah. What about Biden? What about Biden? Yeah, can't finish a sentence. Pumping on strings, who pulling the leverage on his laptop, bullets and bills. China cash flow, millions family getting paid, influence pedal while we out here struggling, pockets unsettled. Weaponized blue JFBI raids, Mar-a-Lago storm, 100 gets paid. January 6th, locking up brands, but Joe's pacified docs in his garage, man. He's on cancel, energy weak.
Oh, come on now. This is a sad song.
On the streets, before the police.
What about Biden? Rigged them votes. Ain't right. What about Biden? What about Biden? Y'all gotta understand.
Economy dying, can't feed your child.
What about Biden?
Afghanistan, that's left on behind.
13 soldiers gone. Joe acting blind. What about Biden? What about Biden?
Yeah, yeah.
What about Biden? Sing it with me now. Come on now. Come on now. This is a sad song. What about Biden? What about him? What about him? Come on, yeah. Y'all know that really does something to the song right there. What about Biden? By the way, way, it's in stores now. You can go listen to it on your own. It's the saddest song.